Not so long ago, the STALKER killer into the radius for virtual reality system was released. From the first glance at Steam page, the game can't fail to please. Beautiful graphics, serious approach to realism. As the owner of Pico 4 glasses for the second week already, I couldn't refuse to try this game. The game immediately draws the user into the tutorial, where it leaves no mercy and show all its adventure. Frightening atmosphere, realistic combat system. To load a gun, you must first find a magazine. The magazine must be loaded with the correct ammunition. Only then insert this magazine into the weapon. Pull the bolt, take off the safety. At first it was not easy to get used to the movement. Every time you forgot something. But it is this kind of immersiveness that arouses interest, makes you cautious, and makes you feel that you are not just killing a machine, but a real person. In addition, weapons in the game require maintenance. Over time it gets covered with rust, the barrels get dirty. The worse the condition of the weapon, the more often it jams. Special resources are provided for the repair, as well as a machine, on which the tool itself is fixed. To store resources, the game has an inventory, its backpack. For equipment, the player can use two holsters, for a pistol on the right hip, for big weapons behind the right shoulder. Excess weapons can be put in the backpack, in the same slot large and small. Backpack can be used to store not only looted resources, but also those he will use for in the raid. A player can be wounded, or a simple hungry. The red stripe is responsible for health, while the blue stripe is responsible for the stamina. Gradually, the yellow bar replaces the blue one, which means that the character is hungry. According to the classic of the genre, there are anomalies in the games. You can get artifacts from them. Most the artifacts are completely useless, only one of them can be used. Regen, which restores health, the other has a different purpose, to sell in the local store for appearance. Opponents in the game are represented by a disbanded black creatures. As you progress through game, more and more enemy types appear, starting with a policeman with a pistol, ending with an APC with a large caliber machine gun. By the middle of the game, the player gets the opportunity to buy a bulletproof vest, but by this time almost every enemy in the game will be wearing ammo. Ammunition in the game will be derived into caliber type. Each weapon has its own caliber, and the type affects the type of penetration and damage to the enemy. When EP has a worse body hit score, it is able to better damage to an armored opponent than FMG does. The game does pretty much everything to make your life difficult. Buys resources for modest amounts of money, sells them for huge amounts. It's almost impossible to accumulate anything. The only way to get out of raid with a large sum on your hands is to perform missions set by an unknown organization. At first, this seems curious. They encourage you to explore location, familiarize you with the mechanics of the game, but the farther you go, the more boring it gets. The type of mission does not change, nothing new is added to the game, only the difficulty increase, nothing more. The story in the game is presented through human fragments, unusual status of people frozen in time. Some of them still hold memories, and when you get destroyed them, they will give some information, comments and something dialogue. The only dialogue in the game that is speciality the player delivered to a vile statue of a woman. According to her comments, everyone around her is silent, and no one can hear her except the protagonist. Her statue stands in the main areas of each location. She gives interesting remarks to the location, communicating one slightly with the player, nothing that he asks his victim to disappear that occurred, can't remember anything, including his name. She offers to make him up, but asks him to find her as soon as possible. Ignoring all the game's merits, I will call it a choker. Exactly the kind we deserve. The game can scare the shit out of you with its atmosphere, pique your interest with erotic outcomes, but gradually everything becomes too disable. Uninteresting, tedious, what seems too much curious and important becomes a simple virtue. There's too much grind in the game, too many completely unimportant side quests that you don't want to do and for which you get a real penis. To advance of the story, you need to earn an insane amount of money, buy all the ammo in the store and go to a new even more difficult location. The most important thing is that you won't find anything but even more enemies, better crates with weapons, but nothing new. The whole world of the game is empty, except for shooting. Search for artifact, there is nothing else to do in it. Thank you for watching.